Well, I don't know which one of you guys saw the Fyre documentary and which one you saw, because they're both completely different. The one on Netflix kind of focuses more on the people and how it affected the people. And I feel like the Hulu one goes more after the business side of it. Here's my review on it. And it doesn't seem like Ja Rule's really taking this seriously. And how did he escape getting into an investigation? He's he's familiar with this. Anyways, let's get into this. This is Jordan Tower with JT News. Hit that bell, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button. Okay, so the Fyre Festival, okay? It seems like, I don't think Ja Rule purposely defrauded anybody, honestly. I think that a lot of entertainers get excited about getting into a business that's outside of what they're normally used to, hip hop and everything. Even though this is related, this is more of the business side, promoter side of things, versus being the entertainer, and being hired. It's a little more exciting. There's a higher return on everything. So he got excited. Okay, he started a booking agency first with this guy called Fyre, where you could directly book and not book artists and not get into a problem where you're not even booking the artists, like it gives you some security in booking the artists. And that was a good idea, even though it didn't really completely take off because most people are with big agencies like William & Morris and everything. It could have worked with a smaller end of artists, but, also usually when an artist is attached to something like that, it deters. He should have done it more secretively. Like even with Nelly with apple bottom jeans, like he didn't really know he was in it, but he was in it. He was promoting it. And it makes, for some reason, it's a mental thing that people have with buying things. So these Fyre documentaries came out, and it's disgusting what happened to people. Now, honestly, I wouldn't have done any work for the festival without a deposit. And a lot of people worked without deposits on this, And this guy, Billy, was a very good marketer and liar, okay, it seems, where he would just, promise people the world once the festival happened. But he said, help me get it there, and then we'll get it there. And a lot of people followed him on this journey. And a lot of people knew that it wouldn't work. I mean, you could tell 60 days out whether a festival of this size happening in the Bahamas would work or not, And the signs were there, and a lot of people tried to warn them. They saw it wasn't going to work, but you're on the train. You might as well ride it to the end, right? Well, it got rode to the end, and people were sleeping in, survival tents with, ham and cheese sandwiches with no acts coming. They actually went through the day before. They could have canceled all the flights and said, hey, we're going to refund everybody the money. But they went through with it because they already had this guy, Billy, had taken millions of dollars from investors. This is why he went to jail first, okay? Because he was inflating the returns that they were going to get and how much they were charging, and everything was inflated to the investors. So it looked like a bigger return on their money than it was. He defrauded. He committed fraud. He sold them a dream. Now, the funniest part of the documentary is when Ja Rule, for some reason, now the funny thing about these documentaries is it's done by the people that committed the fraud. Billy sold these to Hulu and Netflix. He did 2 separate documentaries to make money. Hopefully it's going towards the victims. I'll read Ja Rule's response in a second. But the funniest part of the documentary on the Netflix one is Ja Rule's on a phone call after the festival happened, and they're everyone's like on speakerphone and everything, and they're like, oh, this is bad, guys. Like, we sold something that didn't exist. We that's called fraud. Ja Rule said, that's not fraud. That's not fraud. That's false advertising. Well, look up false advertising, Ja Rule. This is why Ja Rule shouldn't be in business, okay? He shouldn't be doing business like this, because false advertising is fraud. That's why you get your money back on false advertising. That's why you have a case with false advertising. But Ja Rule doesn't think that's fraud, okay? This is why Ja Rule is not the smartest. Now, Ja Rule himself has gone to jail for not something like this. It was for financial stuff, though. I think it was for tax evasion or something like that. He hadn't paid his taxes and he went to jail. He was sentenced to 28 months in prison over tax charges. Was this somebody you would trust with your money? He went to jail in 2011 and comes out and does something money related. He's obviously not that great with money. Yeah, you hire tax people to do your taxes, but you still got to be on top of your money. It's your money. It's not their money, right? But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Ja Rule seems like a good guy, okay? So I don't think he purposely did anything. I think he followed this guy, and a lot of people said they followed this guy because he was so confident, even if he didn't understand everything. Billy McFarland, he would sell you on his thing, and confidence is like 70% of everything. Some people will just blindly follow confidence, okay? So Ja Rule reacted to this today because obviously he's being bombarded with, Twitter messages and everything, right? So this is his response, okay? It goes like this. So someone said, 2 simple questions. At what point do you know that the festival is going to be a disaster and attendees, workers, investors potentially being scammed? Ja Rule said, nice try, homie. You ain't getting the goods over Twitter, but I will tell my truth real soon, and I have receipts. But if I was Ja Rule, I would stay far away from this because it's the feds and it's the Southern District. These are the same people who prosecuted Irv Gotti and almost got Irv Gotti and then put in jail. Ja Rule's gone through this in the early 2000s with the whole thing with Supreme and everything. They thought they were money laundering at Murder Inc., And, of course, Irv Gotti and his brothers and everything were the head of that label, and they were the ones being prosecuted. And they with a lot of money, they beat that case, and that's very rare. They have a 97% conviction rate, 3% chance of them winning, and they won, okay? But Ja Rule doesn't want to be roped into this, and this documentary that Billy did might make the feds feel like, Ja Rule had a little more to do with this than possible, but because he was the co-founder of this. Now, someone else said, I just want to know why the feds aren't after you too. Ja Rule said, because it wasn't me who scammed the people. Now, this guy went to jail for scamming investors. Ja Rule didn't have anything to do with investors. Ja Rule was a face of everything. And I think they were able to separate that. And they probably talked to Joe and said he couldn't throw this himself, okay? Because Ja Rule isn't like Irv Gotti. Irv Gotti is very business-oriented and everything. That's why everything worked with Murder Inc. Ja Rule he's a great face. He has a great personality, and he can sell you things based off his personality. And that's what he gave to Fyre. He gave him a little bit of credibility, too, because he is a big artist. Maybe not for the past 10 years, but he was one of the biggest artists. Right before 50 came out, he was controlling the game of hip-hop, right? So then somebody said, you went from Fyre Festival to being your vision at 10:23 a.m. I'm watching the docs in awe at 12:39 p.m. as if you had no idea what took place in those meetings on the island. And then someone said, so it's possible for me to trust someone with my vision and then to completely mess it up? And it wasn't my money. So when I asked questions, I was lied to. I don't think it was just his vision. I think Ja Rule probably say, these festivals are big. We should get in on that because it would help us with our app. And then Billy ran with it, not knowing what it takes to throw a festival. Okay. Someone else said, and then he said, let's see. Here it is. Let's see. Someone said, I just want you to know the feds aren't after you too. I just want to know why. Oh, so he already did that. And someone said, oh, here it is. Did you lose money? Plenty. Yeah, Ja Rule probably put a good amount of money into this. Even people that worked for Fyre believed in it so much they put their personal credit cards up. Hundreds of thousands of dollars on their credit cards that Amex is probably suing them for. That's what they said in the documentary. Someone has said, the real question, Rule York. Someone said, I never made or got paid $1 from Fyre, but everyone else did. Who? A lot of people lost money. Billy even took what was crazy is the guy Billy, after the whole thing went down at Fyre, he started another company selling people fake Met Gala tickets and everything with the email list they developed from Fyre because they got such a great email list with all the influence and everything promoting it. People signed up, and these people had money, obviously. I don't feel so bad for the people because they're rich. Anyone who has $10,000 to blow on a experience, I can't really feel that bad for her. I do feel bad, but I don't, you know. And then this guy, Billy, sold these documentaries. And I think he said, you seen the key word here is Billy. I've never met this lovely woman. Who is this? She literally hired by Billy and was teamed to supply food. Okay, so they're talking about some woman on the island that did all the food and catering, which somebody started to go fund me for and already raised $100,000, which is great. I hope she gets that money. But she wasn't paid anything. She actually had to pay $50,000 out of her own money to keep her relationships with people that work for her. That was a sad story, actually. But she should have taken a deposit, but you live and you learn, right? She was probably, island living's different. People trust each other. It's a little different. Then someone said, Ja Rule said, you want it to be me so bad, it's crazy. It's kind of sad. This crazy stuff. I'm watching the docs and awe myself. You know everything that happened, Ja Rule. Come on. Then he said, so did they, then said, pay attention to the woman who cooked all that food and lost her savings. He said, so did they have all this food or did they serve cheese sandwiches? Asking for a friend. She was preparing, if Ja Rule didn't really watch the documentary, she was preparing food for the workers before the festival even happened, right? For weeks to feed the workers. He didn't watch both docs, obviously, so I'm kind of shocked. She lost money before the festival even happened for 4 weeks of feeding the people. Takes months to set up something this big. Then Ja Rule said, because Billy was involved with both, he was trying to get them to pay him, and Hulu bit. I heard they paid him somewhere between $100,000 and $250,000. That money was supposed to go back to the locals by law. Then what happened? Okay, tell me what you think we're doing to scam people. Oh, then Ja Rule said, I guess I'm on fire this week. This isn't funny, Ja. Like, this isn't that funny. It's crazy. It's not funny. What sense would it make to steal money? Who would do that? And then Ja Rule said, why would it make sense for Ja Rule to scam people? Because you get rich. But I don't think Ja Rule scam people. I'm going to be really honest with you. I think that he just got in some business. Thought he was doing big business. He wasn't. That's why he really shouldn't be doing Icon right now, which is it's just a flip of Fyre. He started a new company with somebody that was working with this thing. I don't think Ja really should do that. I think Ja should just be doing Ja. Okay, he's making plenty of money being Ja Rule, even though he's not the most popping artist now. He's big, he makes money. He makes probably $1 million or $2 million a year off his catalog. I wouldn't get involved in any of this stuff. Maybe you just don't have a knack for it. Not everybody does. I wouldn't have a knack for doing a lot of things. I wouldn't have a knack for rapping. I wouldn't start rapping tomorrow. But anyways, I think Ja Rule has the wrong attitude here, and I think this wrong attitude could get him roped into something. Someone might feel like he is responsible, and I'm sure he's been named in a lot of these lawsuits and everything. I'm sure he's had to prove that he wasn't involved in the scamming of people, But I think he had to know. If you're a co-founder, wouldn't you be wanting to know what's happening and visiting the site 60 days, 30 days prior to make sure everything's good? Ja Rule is an artist. He's been a part of festivals before. He should know what it takes to kind of like what it looks like. And it didn't look like anything, right? So I think he has a little bit of accountability for saying, like, not pulling the plug or putting some pressure on here. You can't just trust people with your vision that he says this was his vision. You can't just blindly trust people with your vision. He's too experienced in the world to do that now. I'm sure he's been let down with his vision plenty of times with other people. Why would you trust this guy with your vision when he had a failed credit card before that I forget what it was called, but it was a credit card that millennials would have, and you could get tickets and stuff, and there was plenty of bad press on the Better Business Bureau website to show that it was a fraudulent credit card. It was bad. It wasn't good. Didn't do good business for the customers. Bad customer service. Anyways, this is my rant on watching both Fyre documentaries, and I do recommend you watch the one on Hulu and Netflix because they're totally different. Okay? Totally different. And I'm sure this guy did that to make double the money. And who knows? He was scamming people after this festival. That's why an article came out in the New York Post about him scamming again. he was using another face, and that's what they sent him to jail for 6 years, you know. And this guy has no remorse. I think Ja Rule does. I think Ja Rule's different in that sense, but and I don't think Ja Rule should be throwing at any festivals, because unless he's doing everything himself, you know. Even the Icon thing, it's not really that big of a thing right now, and I don't think it will, because there's too many booking agencies that people go to, and if you want to really book an act, you go to a major agency and book them. The private acts, people get scammed all the time. That's why you go to the artist webpage and see their booking info. If artists list their booking information there, or their management information, you go directly to the source. Anyways, guys, what do you guys think? Did you guys watch it? Hit me below, and I'll check you guys later. What do you guys think about Ja Rule's response? Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. This is Jordan Tower with JT News, and I'll check you guys later. Peace.